if you guys have been living under a rock, I mean, it only happened yesterday, or I guess today, literally 30 minutes ago. Justin Tang, it's right there, is the San Antonio regional champion. And let's talk a little bit about what happened in the meta, what happened in the last two tournaments. I think what I'll do is talk about Regulation G so far. And to talk about Regulation G so far, I do have, let me grab my handy dandy Cut Explorer. This is an amazing website. I'll have the link below. It's not up here yet, so I can refresh my standings explorer. Another great site. We actually got our first ever mirror match of in the modern era in Scarlet Violet finals, right? This is exact same team, exact same EVs, the exact same last names, no relation. Is kind of crazy, right? Kind of crazy. So let's talk a little bit about what we are running with here and what we are working with. Calyrex-Ice is back, right? I think that like if uh you are only playing the online tournaments scene, Calyrex-Ice took like a step back, wasn't really winning anything, and it got a lot of people saying, "Yo, is Calyrex-Ice a fraud?" To which I lied and said, "Of course, Calyrex-Ice is a fraud." 'Cause that's a lie. We all know it's not a fraud, right? I think that one of the things that Calyrex-Ice has never like had was super strong online performances. Because a lot of their players tend to uh, really focus on winning tournaments, doing well, and so leading up to San Antonio was Birmingham and Rio, where Maridon would win once again back to back following its Worlds win. This and also Calyrex-Ice would actually dominate Brazil. Three of the four top four were all Calyrex-Ice. Uh, and it kind of put it on the radar. Of course, if you're not respecting Latin regional events for some reason, you might have not noticed this. But if you were paying attention, you'd notice. Uh, Very strong team. Juan Salerno using pretty cool tech, specifically this Terra Fairy. Essentially, with Terra Fairy and this Amoongus, you can kind of lock up whatever a opposing Miraidon would do. If it clicks Electric move, you have Amoongus, you have Lando, you have Raging Bolt. If it clicks a Dragon move, then you just win through the power of Cali. And if it ever clicks a Fairy move, you pop off, you have a Lando, the Cantera, you have this Amoongus. So it's a very, very cool team. And we started seeing a little bit more of this. This actually ends up top 16ing as well. Someone I coach took this team, went super deep with it, proud of them. But yeah, Calyrex-Ice, weak offline performance, really strong online. Weak opposite, weak online, strong offline. And I think what really caused this is the context of the meta, right? Maridon won once again. And looking at Tang's team, kind of the similar concepts that I talked about, right? You have the Amoongus, Calyrex, Lando, extremely good grouping into the Calyrex stuff, as well as these mons around it. I think is really cool. This Roaring Moon, which has seen frequently on the Kyogre teams, right? This knockoff acrobatics tailwind set, super good into Cali Shadow teams. It just has a typing that fixes a lot of problems that your like Calyrex-Ice would expect. Being able to acrobatics through and being a dragon type good into like pretty much every Ogerpon form, bar rock, and like obviously this is where you have different pieces for different parts of the team. Uh, super cool to see it now make its way over to Calyrex-Ice teams. One thing that we noticed is the speed and EVs on this team were everywhere. You're gonna be seeing a bunch of recreations. I might even make a video about this team and play it for some games because it had a lot of crazy things. Like this was a slow bulky Lando Eye. The Calyrex-Ice had like some speed investment, a lot of HP investment, not too much attack investment. This is a physically defensive Ogerpon Heartflame. We see it survive many attacks. So I think that like Chilean and Justin, Donnelly and William Shua, they all cooked. Amazing performances from the three that attended. I don't know if William attended. Uh, and it's cool to see it just be good. It also won Birmingham Seniors. which is kind of sneaky because like a lot of people don't pay attention to senior results, and they had that result to back up this team. It's really cool. I think another thing, and I will take full responsibility because I was kind of calling this Pokemon bad, right? Was we got to see Koraidon do really, really well throughout this set. If you watch day one, you'll see people like Michael Zhang piloting this like very freaky deaky team. Let me find his name. I know he barely bubbled out. He lost his last round, right? Running this like proto spam team that like this is like a team that like you everybody thought, oh yeah, when you first saw Koraidon, you just stack it all. But reality has been wrong, right? I think that like the problem, one of the major problems of Koraidon is like its typing. It shares a lot of weaknesses with the mons that you want to put around it. But Michael Zhang, a really creative team builder, created this version of the team where and then I think Koraidon in general, if you look through like the VODs, look through the teams, had the most meta advancements. I think even on stream there was a player that was like, yeah, I think Koraidon's going to be like the future of this format. Of course, with Calyrex-Ice winning, that's going to be a little bit hard because those two tend to clash. But truthfully, Michael Zhang had a lot of cool adaptations on this team. An extremely cool physically defensive boot bonnet that does get the defense boost. A walking wake and banded gouging, who just deals stupid, uncalculable amounts of damage. And then this like Flutter Koraidon combo, all paired and like neatly wrapped with this Indeedee F. Indeedee not only doing good against priority, but again, we have this looming threat of Miraidon and being able to take away one of its biggest tools. Huge. This team was really sick. Got to see it on stream. Didn't it was its loss, but I don't think it's the last we'll see of this type of team. And like I said, Koraidon was everywhere. Andrew, notably Andrew Luca Paz, doing really good. Andrew having like a sick rendition of the team, right? Scale shot. I think that this is something that a lot of people are afraid to experiment with is physical restricteds without Claire Amulet. We saw it at World, Tirofumi, me, and Alex Underhill all use Never Melt Ice Calyrex. And this happens when Incineroar usage drops. Physical mons can begin like exploring different items, and it helps that Koraidon is a mon that naturally does good into Incineroar. So we see this team take a lot of measures that are like, okay, you're okay getting intimidated, right? You have an Entei, you have a Koraidon, you have this Umbreon who's extremely, extremely cool into Calyrex Ice, being able to taunt them, being able to yawn and foul play, and also Moonlight is a 75% healing when in the sun. Lots of cool synergies. We did see this team end up falling against Shiliang. Yes, against Shiliang. And I think that what like really caused that is just that physically defensive Ogerpon, that impish Ogerpon. It lived a cornerstone attack, it lived the scale shot so comfortably, and it also lived Entei's attack. So this is a Mon that I think if you are listening to this video, and obviously you might not be able to figure out all of the spreads, physically defensive Ogerpon was an amazing call by the Tangs. Please look into it. Other than that, we also see, and I think this is the thing, right? The context of the meta, right? Going out of this tournament, going out of Birmingham, it's not Birmingham. What did good, right? There was a lot of, oh, this is not Birmingham. There's a Miraidon, one again, right? Zama, Terrapagos, right? And Kyogre, lots of that. And what happens is that people always react, right? People are always going to react to the last tournament. If you're going to another regional, if you're going to EYC, you should always be reacting to what has happened last and keep the rest of the top tournament in mind. But because these teams are winning, we saw increased use of Groudon, increased use in Sun, specifically Koraidon, right? Like, look at the top four guys here. Kyogre does not like playing against Sun teams generally. Terrapagos does not like playing against Koraidon. And you can say the same for Zamazenta, a team that was like kind of the latest adaptation. Federico using a variant of what Tomoyuki Snow won one of the VR tours with. So it's kind of cool to see how people react and how people create these really, really cool teams. Like I said, Andrew's team, beautiful, phenomenal. I hope I see more of them. I hope I see more of these Koraidon adaptations. Well, I didn't talk about Luca's team. Luca's team is actually a team that they've been using since Worlds, but again, context of the format. He's also been killing it online, and he still believes in it. And I think it still has a lot of really good matchups. It was just a really rough match up in top eight, I believe, and that's like that is part of the game, right? But again, the meta cycle based off of everything that happened in Birmingham shined on Koraidon, and it is even though I do not believe in Koraidon winning a tournament, I for a moment believe that it could win this tournament, right? And I think one of the things with like Dawe's team, like what happens when you're a tournament where Koraidon is extremely successful. We actually saw this at LA. Excuse me, when LA there was two Koraidon to top eight, and when Koraidon gets very successful, starts doing well, there's always the Calyrex Shadow teams looking, licking its lips, ready to attack, and that's kind of something that we ended up seeing. Is this team that ended up doing good against a lot of the off meta things, but also doing really good into a lot of the uh on meta things. And we could talk about this. It's the famed Dondozo Ting combo. I remember Nick Navarre using this in Regulation C with Stealth Rocks. I know that Alex Gomez won NAIC 2023 with this combination, and it's just really strong. And it's really cool again to see it back. Something else that we're seeing is if you are remembering Worlds, right? Let me show you guys something crazy, and I always love to talk about this is how the meta changed. It was too much. I should mention that NAIC was in June, and Worlds was in August, so they had a 2 month gap, right? And if we go to NAIC and we look up Calyrex Shadow, you will see that Calyrex Shadow, excuse me, had a terror rate of 19 fairy, 10 ghosts, right? And what happened is after Worlds, after NAIC, Calyrex Shadow was everywhere, winning a lot of online tournaments. So come Worlds, right? You go Calyrex Shadow again. A lot of them were Terra Normal. More than half of them were Terra Normal or Dark, which is used to beat each other. And most of them opted for Terra Normal, right? If we go to Birmingham, we look at Calyrex Shadow again, majority of them Terra Normal. We're seeing Dark rise. And what I think Dark does differently is it walls your two stabs, other Calyrex stabs of Astral Barrage and Psychic, right? You're immune to Psychic. So I think that this was a very cool call by Dawe. Also, extremely cool team, right? Like I think that like these two already make the Miraidon like have like such an annoying time. Terra Dragon, Terra Fairy, both one is really good elemental Terra, but also like really, really making Miraidon players think twice on what they want to do. Being able to lock things in with Santom Yawn is extremely strong. And then finally, we saw it a lot, having this Whimsicott in the back. Because after a move would KO either of these two fronts, think about it. What is somebody's Pokemon going to use to KO these? Like a fighting move, a water move, electric move, all walled by Whimsicott. And Whimsicott comes in, gets the Encore, locks the board state. We saw so many times that I was able to set up that exact scenario. This is a really cool team. If you're someone that enjoys and admires using these like bulkier comps that can press like go on the gas pedal, like this is one of the teams of all time to use it. I think another thing that we hadn't really talked about is Urshifu Dark. Urshifu Dark was rising in usage because a lot of the Calyrex shadows that we mentioned were switching away from Terra Fairy. So we're starting to see a lot more Urshifu Darks, and now the Calyrex are Terra Fairy, which is supposed to be good into Zamazenta, but a downside to using it in general in most matchups. So excited to see what happens with Urshifu. I still think Urshifu Dark is broken. Really good Mon. I think that like I said, it was on Juan Salerno's team. Extremely, extremely good team. But yeah, this meta is like kind of interesting. We're back. I think that like people who slept on Regulation G, who were like Regulation G2 is just going to be worse. We're all being proven wrong right now. This meta is so diverse. I always am like, you should be using the top 5 restricted. Don't waste my time. I'm still kind of like that, but I can admit that you can find success so many different restricted. So there's Zacian, Groudon, right? Koraidon, Kyogre. All of these ones that are in the background are coming to the forefront, and I can see them do really good. Like Carson and Choppo are also using this Groudon variant. We didn't see the Chinese Groudon team do as good this time around, which is unfortunate. It's a really cool constructed team. If you're not familiar with that team, it was a team that went 9-0 in an online tournament, lost in top 16. But we have seen since we've had like quite a few players build with it. It got top 8 here. Uh, and we saw it on stream round 1 and like a few rounds. It's a really cool team. But it didn't have the strongest performance. And that's because I think Miraidon did pretty bad this tournament. And this isn't a Miraidon's a fraud, which honestly, please, if you got made it to this far, please call Miraidon a fraud in the comments below. Because it's funny. I find it funny at least. I love knee-jerk reactions. But Pokemon players, I can't express this. VGC players at the top level are so smart and understand that you need to have like Miraidon winning Worlds and then winning that regional cemented it as the team to beat. De facto. If it wasn't the team to beat before, it was doubly the team to beat now. And everybody doubled down on ways to beat Miraidon. And it paid off, right? There's 0 Miraidon in Top Cut. Uh, and that's kind of crazy. That is kind of crazy. It was a very Calyrex-Ice dominated tournament. And what does this mean, right? Think of it like this. Now Calyrex-Ice is the mon to beat. If you're going to any event after this, even locals, online tournaments, regionals, the grand challenge that's this weekend, you're doing any of those, you need to now have answers to my cat's up here. You need to have answers to Calyrex-Ice. I think that's like the biggest part I wanted to talk about. I think that if you guys like this type of content where I kind of just yap, uh, it's been 17 minutes on 18 minutes on the beat. She's now, please, Prisma. Hey baby, I'll feed you. You can get up. Well, I think that I yapped enough. If you would like to see more content like this, I'd love to do that. I think I'm going to do more battle content that's outside of Mofongo Monday, focus more competitive. If that's something else you'd like to see, please. I'm always trying to make more content and figure out what works for me. But also, I want to give more to you guys, especially going into 2025. I haven't like edited a real video yet. I have one coming on the way. It is a pocket video. It's about the first Iron Man challenge. But if you guys want more VGC content that are just yapping, I can do this. I literally sat down after the end of the tournament and yapped. And if this is stuff that you like, I will be there. But yeah, I think that's like the context of everything else. I think that I'll do more yap style content like this every other Monday if I don't have like an edited video. If there's ever a tournament, expect something like this to happen. And if there's ever like things that you guys want more of, I'm here. I'm your guy. But this has been a Jeudy Yap session. Thank you for attending. Bye bye.